One of my first videos on this channel covered artifacts, but much has changed since then. I want to keep the content up to date so you don't waste time watching outdated videos. This video focused on artifacts, often one of the first elements new players encounter when looking to increase their hero strengths and, in fact, the foundation of that strength. Artifacts are crucial in determining whether you can effectively deal damage, tank, heal or fill a hybrid role. I'll cover all the essential details about them. If you are new to the game, I invite you to spend these 10 minutes with me. And if you're already a Corepunk Giga Chat who thinks they know everything, you're welcome too. You might still discover something new. Actually, everyone is welcome, as long as you're well rested and hydrated. If not, feel free to grab a drink during this introduction and make sure to get your 8 hours of sleep after watching. Let's begin. Heroes can equip up to 6 artifacts, which are the primary source of power as mentioned in the introduction. There are 7 main stat types, fairly standard for MMORPGs. Health points and mana don't require introduction. Armor and magic resist reduce the damage a hero receives from enemies. Attack power and spell power determine whether you'll deal physical or magic damage. It's important to understand that class, skills and talents may scale with either attack or spell power, but not necessarily both. For example, if you play as a destroyer, you can ignore spell power entirely since none of this hero's abilities scales with it. An interesting feature is the heal and shield power stat, which is separate from spell power. Unlike typical MMORPGs where healing scales with spell power, Corepunk uses this dedicated stat. Currently, only 2 heroes, Shaman and Blast Medic, have healing abilities that scale with the heal and shield stat. As new classes like the Pain Reaper are added to the game, more heroes will be able to scale with spell power or heal and shield power. Corepunk features 3 tiers of artifacts. When you first start playing, you'll receive tier 1 artifacts as drops from mob camp chests or quest rewards. As you progress and level up your hero, you'll start finding tier 2 artifacts or even crafting them yourself. Once you reach the level cap of 20, it's time to focus on acquiring tier 3 artifacts. What's the difference between these tiers? Let's explore them step by step. Tier 1 artifacts provide a specific range of stats. For example, a Tier 1 artifact's health points range from 100 to 200. Tier 2 artifacts doubles these values, offering 200 to 400 health points. Additionally, Tier 2 artifacts provide 2 types of stats to enhance your hero. Tier 3 artifacts maintain the same stat values as Tier 2, but add a 3rd type of stat, making them more powerful. Artifacts have tiers, but they also have quality. Quality determines the number of secondary stats your artifact will contain. Common quality artifacts have 0 secondary stats, uncommon have 1, rare have 2 and epic have 3. The game features many secondary stat types. If you want to increase your attack damage, focus on physical crit chance and power. For more magic damage or healing, look for magic crit chance and power. When facing enemies with high armor, armor penetration is your go-to secondary stat. If you want to heal based on the percentage of damage dealt, target lifesteal. Secondary stat values appear as points, which are later converted into percentages. Each secondary stat has its own conversion rate and soft cap, so creating your ideal build will require some time and calculation. To upgrade the quality of artifacts and increase the number of secondary stats, simply use upgrade kits. To reach uncommon quality, you need an uncommon upgrade kit. For rare quality, a rare upgrade kit, and for epic quality, an epic upgrade kit. Make sure to use the correct tier of upgrade kit as well. For tier 1 items, look for Novice in the kit name. For tier 2 items, Adept, and for tier 3 items, Master. Corepunk features an important system called Upgraded and Overclocked Items, with artifacts being a key part of the system. You can obtain extra secondary stats by using high quality ingredients that the recipe requires. For example, crafting a double health points artifacts with the basic uncommon quality ingredients will give you a default artifact. However, using rare ingredients instead will add one additional secondary stat, while using epic ingredients will add 2 additional secondary stats. This means that after upgrading the artifact you could have up to 5 secondary stats. This system works for tier 1 and tier 2 artifacts. For tier 3 artifacts, instead of adding secondary stats, this process improves 1 or 2 passive talents. This is a complex feature that I'll explain in a separate video once the Mastery 3 talent upgrade system is released. A similar system applies to both artifacts and weaponry, so I'll cover both together. I'll add this video to the description after I've made it, so check it there if you are interested in learning more about this feature. There are several ways to obtain artifacts. You can receive them as a drop from chests in mob camps, from bosses, or as a quest rewards. Alternatively, you can craft them. Each artifact requires a specific recipe that you must learn before crafting, and every recipe has its own types of ingredients for the craft. The crafting system is straightforward. To craft a tier 1 artifact, you need 2 tier 1 materials. For a tier 2 artifact, you'll need 2 uncommon quality tier 1 artifacts with main stats that match those of your target tier 2 artifact. For example, to craft a tier 2 artifact with armor and health points, you need 2 uncommon tier 1 artifacts, one with armor and one with health points, plus 2 tier 2 materials. Same way, crafting a tier 3 artifact requires 3 uncommon tier 2 artifacts with corresponding stats, along with 3 tier 3 materials. Another important aspect of artifacts is that the existence of double or triple stat variants. Let's say we want to improve our spell power. We could use 2 tier 2 artifacts, one with spell power and health points, and another with spell power and armor. This provides a nice balance of damage and survivability. However, if you prefer to be a pure damage dealer, there are specialized tier 2 artifacts with only one type of main stat, but with doubled stat values. For spell power specifically, this artifact is called the Meta Shaker. The game offers similar double stat artifacts for each stat type. This system extends to tier 3 artifacts as well. While standard tier 3 artifacts come with 3 different stat types, there are also specialized versions with just one main stat that's tripled in value. Be aware that crafting these specialized artifacts requires more tier 3 ingredients than their standard editions. Let's talk about rerolling stat values and types. Let's say we have an artifact with values we don't like, such as 1 out of 5 or 2 out of 5. We want to improve it to 4 out of 5 or 5 out of 5. To do this, we need to use a synthesis machine along with synthesis fuel in our backpack, the artifact itself, and the reroll kit. To reroll main stat, you need a main values reroll kit. For secondary stats, you'll need a secondary values reroll kit. However, there is no guarantee you'll get better values than before, so it sometimes takes several attempts to achieve the desired results. As mentioned earlier, there are quite a few secondary stat types, and it's rare to receive exactly the stats you need after crafting or upgrading. To reroll secondary stat type, you need a secondary stat type reroll kit. Same way, you may need multiple attempts to find your desired stat type. The game also has 2 categories of items closely tied to artifacts. The first are runes. Runes are another way to improve your hero, providing move speed, shields, or increased damage. We'll soon receive an update focusing on runes, which will slightly rework the system and add many new runes to the game. For now, you can simply right-click on a rune and then right-click on an artifact to apply it. Once the rune update is released, I'll make a video about it, so check if that video is available by the time you're watching this. I might have already made it. The second category is boss heads. There are specific bosses on Prison Island that can drop their heads if you meet certain conditions when defeating them. These heads can be used when crafting artifacts in the synthesis machine. Using this method, you'll receive an extra secondary stat with a specific bonus tied to a particular head. You can only insert one head-related bonus per artifact. All possible bonuses from heads are shown on the screen. So I think that's everything I would like to say about artifacts. The game is developing at a fast pace, so there could be some changes in the future compared to what I've told you. I will keep my finger on the pulse and specify any changes in the pinned comment, so make sure to check it. There are other cool videos on my channel, so you are more than welcome to check those out too. Don't forget to like, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video.